I think there's plenty of places. Take your pick. This was.
Now it's on. Yes. Okay. Good evening.
Evening.
Thank you all for coming out. This may be the only night all week that we can actually drive anywhere. So, we appreciate you coming. Your active participation is an essential part of effective school operations. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll preface my opening remarks with a few operational details. During this public hearing, I will invite a member of the board to speak to each article on the proposed warrant. Once a particular warrant has been read, with additional information provided by the representative board member, the floor will be open for public feedback. The main purpose of this public hearing is to hear your feedback on the proposed budget and warrant. We will attempt to provide clarifications. This isn't really intended to be a back and forth discussion, but we will certainly try to answer your questions. If you have questions that are not addressed to your satisfaction, please contact your board member, myself, or the SAU office. As always, we count on you to maintain respect and decorum in your discussion. The warrant. This year's warrant is organized in the following manner. Article 1 deals with choosing a moderator for the 2024 annual meeting. Article 2 is why the polls will be open on Friday, March 10th from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. for school board elections. Article 3 deals with the operating budget. Tracy Bricky, the chair of the MVSD Finance Committee, will provide an overview of the proposed budget. Article 4 is the MVEA Teachers Collective Bargaining Agreement, CBA. Sally Hirsch Dickinson, chair of the MVSD Negotiations Committee, will speak to the proposed agreement. Article 5 provides for a special meeting should Article 4 be defeated. Article 6 is an article asking the legislative body, that is the voters, to provide an advisory vote regarding a successor tuition agreement between the Merrimack Valley School District and Andover School District. Lori Carey, who is chair of the SAU board, will speak briefly to this article. Article 7 includes boilerplate language that allows for other business to be addressed at the annual meeting. The first article dealing with any requested appropriations is Article 3, and I invite Tracy Bricky to present this article.
Thank you, Sue. I'll start by reading Article 3. To see if the school district will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $45,601,831 for the support of schools, the salaries of school district officials and agents, and for the payment of statutory obligations of said district. This article does not include appropriation voted in other warrant articles. The school board recommends this article. In an effort to more succinctly and effectively review the proposed budget, we've listened to constituent feedback. Rather than addressing every single line in the budget, tonight we will be discussing major budget influences and looking at projected expenses and changes from this year's budget by reviewing each function and providing relevant content. There will be time for questions at the end of this presentation. It's important to take a moment to explain several known drivers that impact all the functions with salaries and benefits. The district's benefits provider has issued expected not to exceed percentage increase for health benefits at 11.1%. This is the percentage increase used in budgeting. We know this increase will impact the proposed budget across all functions by $498,007. While it doesn't outweigh the increase for health benefits, the employer contribution rates for New Hampshire retirement system will be going down next fiscal year. The support staff rate will go from 14.06% to 13.53%, and the professional staff rate will decrease from 21.02% to 19.64%. The decrease to those rates will provide savings of $202,291. We also know the pre-approved and collectively bargained agreements for the Merrimack Valley Administrator Association and Support Staff Association total $216,931. Additionally, throughout the budget special education functions and line items, there are increases that total $806,741. The district has a moral and legal obligation to meet the needs of all our learners and to provide them with engaging and appropriate educational and growth opportunities. Starting on the first page of the proposed budget in your packet, which is page 5, function 1100 regular education, we see an overall reduction of $248,272. While we do see the increase for the 11.1% in this function, administration has carefully considered reducing several salary lines due to known retirements and turnover. We know we have several long-term teachers retiring, most deservedly retiring, this spring, and we don't expect to onboard new teachers with contracts at those current salary levels. Function 1210, the special education, this function has an increase of $637,493. Again, we see that 11.1% increase for health benefits, slightly offset by the employer rates for the New Hampshire retirement system. We also see a significant increase in tuition lines. These increases are based on changing student needs and are based on what we know about the student population at this time. Function 1211, the extended school year, special education. The increase in this function is $53,847. We expect an increase of $25,000 in the transportation line and an increase of $30,000 for our out-of-district tuition. Those increases are offset slightly by those reductions in the New Hampshire retirement system. Function 1260, English language learners, the increase of $2,687 is due to that 11.1% increase, as well as a small increase of $500 in the supply line. And there is that slight offset due to the decrease in New Hampshire retirement system. Function 1290, other special programs, the increase of $20,980 is attributed to that 11.1% and the decrease in the employer rate and a small decrease to the workers' compensation line. At the bottom of page 5, the very bottom, the function 1300, career and technical education, CTRC, we see a reduction in this function of $30,415 due to declining enrollment in the Concord Regional Technical Center programming. We continue to encourage our students to enroll in the programs offered, but feel comfortable with this reduction in the coming year. Moving on to page 6. Okay. Function 1410, co-curricular activities. Decrease of $648 is attributed to the New Hampshire retirement system employer rate. Function 1420, athletic programs. Overall, the function is increasing $35,159. We've had to contract our out athletic trainer services that we that were previously included in the responsibilities of one of the high school teachers. That teacher's position has changed and they are no longer able to provide those services as part of their day. The contract with the athletic trainer will not exceed $35,000. The additional $159 increase is due to the benefit lines and the increase in the benefit and the decrease in the niche retirement. Function 2110, the school resource officer, we expect that function to remain flat. 2120, counseling services, that increase is $24,491, which is again 11.1% up and then down because of New Hampshire retirement. Drug and alcohol counseling, that function will remain flat. 2130, the health services, we see a relatively small increase of $3,726. That is again changes to the 11, that's attributed to the 11.1% increase and the decrease in the New Hampshire retirement system. And we also had an opportunity to make some reductions to the salary line based on turnover. Function 2140, psychological services, the increase of $4,232. Can you guess? 11.1 up and a little bit down because of New Hampshire retirement. So if we look at the bottom, function 2149, behavioral services, the increase is $7,004. Y'all know that drill. Okay, let's go to the top of page 7. 2150, speech language pathology services. The increase here is $27,106. It's related to all those benefit changes, as well as an increase of $21,000 in contract speech services at the elementary level. 2153, what you've all been waiting for. We see a decrease of $3,344. I couldn't even say it, decrease. We see the increase again for the health and dental and the decrease for New Hampshire retirement. We also see savings in the contracted services line for both the middle school and the high school. And those are based on changing student needs. 2162, the physical therapy services, we expect that function to remain flat. Occupational therapy services, they're increasing $88.70 and due to the benefits changes. Function 2190, student support services. This function sees an increase of $123,507. We can attribute some of the increase in the changes in benefits to the changes in benefits, but also is due to the addition of an associate director of student services position to be dedicated at the elementary level. This position was previously grant funded. Those funds are no longer available, but we continue to see the benefits of this additional position as it allows us the opportunity to review our special education programs for effectiveness and efficiency. We are hopeful that continued program review will also lead to financial saving and creative ideas to continue to meet diverse and changing student needs. Functions 2210 and 2211 are the teacher mentoring services functions, a slight increase of $290 due to benefits. Function 2212 and 2213, curriculum services, there's a small decrease there for $471, and that is due to New Hampshire retirement, as well as decrease in workers' comp premiums. Function 2222 starts at the very bottom of page 7 and goes on to page 8. So function 2222, the library media services, the increase for benefits there is $13,047. Function 2225, which is technology services, the function has an overall increase of $80,465 due to the changes in benefits and the addition of a support staff position. We also see an increase of $50,000 in the equipment line. These additional funds will help us to continue the one-to-one Chromebook initiative that has been largely funded through the ESSER grant funds that will be expiring in the coming year. Functions 2310 and 2311 school board services. There's an increase there of $1,419 due to an increase in the liability insurance premium. Function 2312, a small decrease of $2 for the workers' comp. It's a little chuckle, Holly. Functions 2313, 2317, 2318. Treasurer services, audit services, legal services, we expect those all to remain flat. And function 2319, other services, a small increase of $982 related to the benefits changes. Finishing out page 8 is the SAU assessment, function 2321. There's an increase there of $129,573. This is the SAU budget that's apportioned out to the 2 districts within SAU 46, and that's Andover and Merrimack Valley. This increase is due to updated proration and preparing for separations. The SAU has seen 2 long-term employees retire in the last few years, and we'll have another retirement at the end of this year. There are also several current employees that would be eligible for separation pay if they decided to retire at any point. This budget helps us to build the foundation to prepare for that. So flipping on to page 9, function 2410, Office of the Principals. The Office of the Principals function has an increase of $7,291. We have changes in the benefits, same story. But we also have a reduction of $15,000 in one of the other high school lines. Last year, we needed to budget for the NEASC reaccreditation, but the process is complete and we don't need those funds appropriated this year. Function 2490, graduation fund expenses, that will remain flat. Function 2620, operations and maintenance, the function has an overall decrease of $93,456. There is that 11.1% increase for benefit, as well as an increase for the property insurance premium. Those increases are offset by the reduction of the New Hampshire retirement system employer rates and a decrease recommended by administration to the health and dental line to stay current with the needs of the personnel in this department. Function 2630, operations and maintenance, as well as that includes function 2620. There's an increase of $10,000 in this function based on the price of field care. Function 2600, security, that function will remain flat. Function, the 2700s, which are transportation. Again, when you look at the 2700, you see the 11.1%, the New Hampshire retirement system, the workers' comp, all those fluctuating with the benefits. We also see a $2,082 increase in the vehicle insurance premium and an increase of $200,000 to the special education out-of-district transportation line. This increase to the out-of-district line is based on changing student needs and increases we are seeing in contracted transportation costs. Function 2900 is where the previously approved and collectively bargained agreements are budget. The total increase for there is $231. And I mentioned those at the beginning when we were talking about some of the major drivers of the budget. So bottom of page 9, starting on page 10, 4200 site improvement and 4600 building improvement. These functions see a decrease of $41,300 and an increase of $71,300 respectively. And those are just based on longitudinal and expected expenses. Finishing off page 10, 5220, the transfer to federal, and 5221, the transfer to food services. Those functions will remain flat. 5222, maintenance expendable trust. The last decrease we see within this budget is related to the transfer to the maintenance expendable trust. This is where the additional to last year's MET was expended in the budget. We're not asking for the voters to approve any additional funds from the unassigned fund balance to be transferred to the MET this year. So the decrease in this function is $300,000. So the budget, overall, the proposed budget for 2023-2024 is $45,681. Okay, let me start again. Can you tell I was a math teacher? I can't even read these numbers. $45,601,831, which is up $1,015,632, which is 2.28% from the 2022-2023 total approved budget. Again, those main drivers for the budget, 11.1% increase for health and dental, which is $498,007, and previously approved collective bargaining agreements, $216,931, and the increase across special education fund functions, which is $806,741. So let's talk about revenues. Those are on page 11 in the packet. Again, it's always difficult. They fluctuate year after year. It's difficult to prove. It's difficult to predict. But this year we see a slight decline of $470,743 in our adequacy funding because of the average daily membership. But we expect an increase of $783,013 in the statewide education property tax, the SWEP revenue, due to a change in the legislation. As always, district administrators and officials continue to advocate for revenues when legislation is brought forward at the State House. Please let your voices be heard by your representatives in Concord as well. It's very important. Now, I'll open the floor for comments or questions or both. Lee, you want to ask about the $2 decrease?
I really think y'all like that. Sorry, I actually downloaded the wrong information. I had the notes, so I had to go back and forth between the draft packet and the hearing packet and then the proposed budget. So I do want to ask Fred, are you sure? Are you really sure? Let's see. Okay. Can I get, so in an ideal world, the CDA that is up for the teachers will be accepted. So this does not reflect that. I understand why, but can I get the totals and the percentage increase if that is accepted at the meeting? So I can understand kind of where we're looking at.
So at the bottom of, okay.
This is in the packet. It's $46,095,444.
Okay, and did you happen to know what the overall increase would be? If we're at 2.28% without that, what does it go up to with it?
So for those of you who are following along, it's on page 10, at the bottom of page 10, where it says warrant articles, Article 3, Article 4, and then the total with all the articles.
This is where coming down my wrong file is the problem.
What here?
I don't either. I do words. I don't do math. That's my problem.
Don't say that.
It's true.
That's a terrible thing to say. Does anybody say I don't do reading? No.
Yeah. Oh, I know people who do. Trust me.
No, I do. I won't stand for that.
Yeah, I know,
Are you guys? Yeah. Okay, there we go.
that's, and so actually, Fred, I'm actually kind of serious. Is there anything big coming up? I mean, I know we've done roofs and a lot of the big expenses, the increases are coming from things like fuel and, just sort of the overall increase that we're all seeing. Thank God fuel isn't on eggs. But is there anything like down the road? I mean, you're comfortable with not requesting additional funding for the expenditure fund?
Well, in the very near foreseeable future, we have to replace the track at some point. I believe I'm replacing the bus line loop that's coming from us. And there's gonna be other roofs off the lot.
I don't think your microphone.
I don't think it's either. No, and it's not. Okay, so you didn't get the track in this year, huh?
Nope,
Oh, that really sucks, because the track's in rough shape.
well, the owner of the company that does the work said we have 3 or 4 more years left.
And nobody's ever run on it, but okay. I met the owner of the company. Okay, as far as the technology grants, is there anything else out there that we could be looking at to offset those costs?
We're always going after grants, anything that we can leverage. One of the problems with a lot of grants is out there, they're not for,
Existing programs.
they're for, professional development or, programs of support, but not for, technology. That's always a kind of the top thing. We're always looking and trying to figure out how we can leverage some funds or make it part of a program to do some of those costs.
Yeah, nobody wants to fund quote unquote operating costs, which that is unfortunately now become, which is really frustrating.
Well, we do have the percentage increase that you asked for is 3.39%.
Thank you very much. Lee?
Louise Andrews from Salisbury. I know budgets are very hard, no matter what level, whether it's private or public. But I'm here tonight to request that the school board cut the Merrimack Valley School District budget for the 23-24 school year. We are in an unusual period of time in that inflation is high, and it looks very likely we will have some type of recession this year. Many people are trying to figure out how to pay their mortgage or rent, buy gas to go to work, put food on the table, and to pay for heat in their home. An example is the 12-month percent price change from December 22 to December 23 is 10.4% increase for food. Gas is on the rise again in the last few weeks. Let me give you an example which is close to me. Today, my husband and I needed diesel fuel for our tractor so that we can plow our dooryard. We paid $4.99 per gallon for 16.901 gallons or $84.29. A year ago, the average was $3.67 a gallon. Let's discuss proposed budgets. Currently, my town of Salisbury is requesting additional monies in the proposed budget. I don't have the amount tonight, but if everything went through, from what I see, it will be increases in taxes. The Merrimack County budget is proposing a 2.9% increase in property taxes, or $1,352,553 increase. As you know, the Merrimack Valley School District is proposing for the 23-24 budget an additional $1,015,632, or a 2.28% increase over 22-23. I am asking the school board reconsider the budget for the 23-24 school year and reduce the budget to $44,586.199 or the 22-23 adjusted budget level. The taxpayers are not endless credit cards. Please do not say the state needs to do more. At the state level, we are still taxpayers, and monies that come from the state to the schools and the towns and the cities still comes out of the taxpayers' pockets. Thank you.
Anyone else? In that case, I will now invite Sally Hirsch Dickinson to present Article 4. Good evening. We're not on.
You're on. Okay, good. We just can't hear me. Take 2. Good evening, and thank you for taking the time to participate in this important process. Article 4 of the draft warrant of the Merrimack Valley School District's annual meeting reads, to see if the school district will approve the cost items included in the collective bargaining agreement reached between the Merrimack Valley School Board and the Merrimack Valley Education Association, which calls for the following estimated increases in salaries and benefits. 2023 to 2024, $493,613. 2024 to 2025, $362,519. 2025 to 2026, $420,121. And further, to raise and appropriate the sum of $493,613 for the 2023-2024 fiscal year, such sum representing the additional costs attributable to the increase in salaries and benefits required by the new agreement over those that would be paid at current staffing levels. The school board recommends this article. The Merrimack Valley School Board and the Merrimack Valley Education Association have collaborated to bring forward a collectively bargained agreement with CBA to MV voters. The MVSD employs approximately 235 faculty members under the MVEA agreement. Here's some context for the MVEA 2023 to 2026 contract. The MVSD and all schools exist in an increasingly competitive and changing marketplace for education professionals. Research confirms that the most important thing that the board and voters can do for our students is to put highly skilled, caring professionals in our classrooms. In order to attract and retain teachers, we need to be competitive with the current marketplace. We're hopeful that along with the great working environment in our schools and communities, this agreement will indeed allow the district to attract and retain talented, innovative, and caring teachers. Now some details about the CBA. It's a 3-year agreement that was ratified by the MVEA on December 21st, 2022. There's a decrease in the number of student days from 180 to 177, and a decrease in the number of professional development days from 8 to 6. So points worth noting in regard to this particular change. The Department of Education requires school districts to set calendars based on hours rather than days. The MVSD far exceeds the hours requirement. The MVSD has always attempted to align calendars with Concord due to CRTC. Recently, legislation has been proposed that would compel all districts in the state to align their calendars with their regional technical center. Having flexibility with days, since requirements are based on hours, has benefited students and families in the past, as the district has been able to make decisions about student days in mid to late June. Many students have been able to travel with family, go to camps, and start their summer jobs due to this flexibility. So moving on to additional details in the CBA. The new salary schedule has been realigned to clearly reflect the experience and educational attainment of all professional staff. The first year represents a 3.53% increase, the second
2.47%, and the third year, a 2.79% increase. The resulting warrant article will read 2023 to 24, $493,613, 2024 to 25, $362,519, and 2025 to 26, $420,121. I now open the floor to feedback on Article 4. Anyone? Okay, thank you. I will now invite Lori Carey to present Article 6.
Thank you, Sealy. Article 6, shall the school district approve the long-term tuition agreement for the Andover School District on file with the school district clerk as negotiated by the school board, which provides for an initial 10-year term beginning on July 1, 2024 and expiring June 30th, 2034. And to further authorize the school board to submit the agreement to the State Board of Education for approval pursuant to RSA 194:22, and to authorize the school board to take any further other acts necessary to give this authorization, including adopting minor amendments to the agreement from time to time without further action of the school district. So a little history on this agreement. Believe it or not, I've been here long enough to work on the previous agreement, which was a 15-year tuition contract with Andover. We followed a process where we had 2 members from the Andover School Board, 2 members of the Merrimack Valley School Board, and the SAU chair. Andover, for their part, did essentially charrettes, listening sessions within their community, gathering up information in other school districts. They asked the costs of going to other school districts, program offerings, and so forth. At the end of that process, which was a year-long process, they came to the conclusion that based on feedback from the community, which was overall positive, that they would continue their tuition agreement with the Merrimack Valley School District, which I happen to invest. Just to let you know, they conferred with all the school districts around. And we were very pleased and honored that the Andover School Board members and the community of Andover decided to continue the relationship we had with Merrimack Valley. I'm gonna say, a million years ago, I was a student at Merrimack Valley, and some of my best buddies came to Andover. And fast forward to my own 4 children who had started at Merrimack Valley High School in 2003. The last one graduates this year. 20 years later, they all have had a great relationship with Andover students. They are part of the fabric of our Merrimack Valley community. Each child from each rural town in our district brings meaning to all of us. I'm very proud of the relationship we all have together. But I digress. And just a little shout out to my friends out there, Mike Reynolds and Ben, you don't like my meatloaf, I still love you. I still love you. So our tuition rate was based on a percentage of the Merrimack Valley cost per pupil. Slightly less than Merrimack Valley's overall rate based on the fact that not all special ed expenses are included in our base rate. So essentially we spend a lot of time looking at what we consider base rate because our own residents have a base rate which includes special ed expenses. With Andover, we gave them a base rate plus special ed expenses. So those additional special ed expenses they will be paying for. If you look at Appendix A in the agreement, it breaks out all of those special ed expenses that are not included in the base rate and described as extraordinary expenses. Andover must pay them separately on top of the base rate. Plus, they must also pay tuition. Public ed tuition, they pay for their own tuition, and they pay for their own special ed tuition, which will be heard earlier this evening, our own special ed transportation expenses have gone up $200,000. So we thought that it was prudent to have them pay for those expenses separately. So this successor agreement is a 10-year agreement. I don't plan to be around to renegotiate another one. This is my last. So I hope you will take a look at this. And I'm sure someone out there will ask the value of this agreement. Our predecessor was valued at $15 million. This one's a 10-year agreement. It's valued at roughly between $10 and $12 million. So roughly between $1 to $1.2 million a year. And it's not about the money, folks. It's about the people. And we value our relationship with you. Thank you.
Are there any questions or comments on that? Okay. I want to thank you all for your support and interest. Your feedback has great impact on our budget and our warrant that we will bring to the annual meeting. The MVSD board will be reconvening our recessed January board meeting in just a few minutes. We'll stay right here and do that. And please feel free to remain with us for that meeting. Just a reminder, the annual meeting is Friday, March 10th. Polls open at 11. The meeting starts at 7. Thank you very much and good night.
Thank you.
Right, right, okay, sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
All right, everybody ready to keep going?
Just wanna let you know, we have some agendas for this meeting right here. Might be a few people who don't get one. Oh, okay. Lee is willing to share. Walk right there. Awesome.
Oh, yeah, see it for me anyway.
So I'll put those on this chair right here in case anybody wants them, or if anybody wants them, I can deliver right now.
Thanks.
Yeah. Then this is. This is just a regular board.
Yeah, we're just reconvening.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's up for it. Yeah. My last one is. Although it's an automated one.
I know, and it's also, the question is more about living night, Brooke up here.
Dr. McLean, are you ready?
Sorry.
Yeah, get up the gallery. All right. I will call the reconvened January meeting of the Merrimack Valley School Board to order. Could we have roll call, please?
Brittany Berkey. Here. Lori Perry. Here. Eric Hansen. Owen Harrington. Sally Hurd Dickinson. Here. Peggy Jones Landers. Here. Billy Longnecker. Here. Bobby Joe Mike. Here. Melissa Murphy. Here. Laura Minton. Jessica Wheeler Russell. Here. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any public comment on the agenda items? Anyone? Okay. The next item on our agenda is discussion of the public hearing. Does anybody have anything they want to say?
There was more people than Harris.
I do too. But those of you who came, we appreciate it. Thank you. Listen for that. Okay, so the next item is action on the proposed 2023-2024 budget. Could I have a motion, please, to put the proposed budget forward on the warrant?
I would like to make that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Did you get that, Chris?
Yeah, thank you.
Any discussion? Go ahead. You want to discuss?
Well, I'm annoyed that somebody said we shouldn't talk to our state representative, because I think those are the people that you need to talk to. You need to talk to your state representative about how education in New Hampshire is funded. It's terrible that this burden has to be put on the taxpayer.
Okay, hey,
Thank you.
fair enough. Anyone else? All right, all those in favor of the motion to put the proposed budget on the warrant, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 5, resolution to authorize lease. I have no idea what.
Our legal, back in November, we approved the purchase, you approved the purchase of 2 new school buses. We actually took, was not revoked, the liking. Is asked that somebody make a motion. I move that the resolution is federal regulation to authorize the purchase of 2 new school buses. Will not inform the housing be adopted in the form presented to, because this will allow it to create funding and not to loss of this.
Okay, could I, you have this piece of paper with this motion on it? Could I have a motion?
So moved.
All right, Tracy moved, Laura seconded. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
What was wrong with it?
Robust. Define robust. Never mind. Okay. All right. Could I have a motion to go into non-public session under RSA 91-A 3 That's a roll call vote, please. To go into non-public session, RSA 91-A 311A.
Yes. Right, Gary? Yeah. Aaron, there's nothing interesting. I don't think. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
So I want
Yeah.
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 Okay. 2-minute break and then we're on public.
Oh, yeah.